couple days ago, I uploaded a video talking about the demise of the toy train system. One of the ranges we talked about was GeoTrax, which was certainly a favorite of mine in my childhood, and it looks like a lot of you grew up with these trains as well. While GeoTrax never outright stated that any of their trains were based on real engines like how Whittle Shortline or Brio did, they did have a number of engines that I think were definitely intended to be a subtle nod to different real-life locomotives. So today, let's go through some GeoTrax toys that I think are clearly based on real engines. It was a lot of fun to go through all the products that GeoTrax made back in the 2000s, and it just makes me wish that we had a toy range like this today. I'd like to thank GeoTraxPacks.com for providing the reference material and information to make this video happen. One last thing before we jump in, we aren't going to be discussing every single GeoTrax engine today. A lot of the locomotives and cars produced in this range are definitely just generic fictional prototypes, or just so vague that it would be hard to pinpoint a real-life inspiration for them. But trust me, there are a lot that we can find real-world inspiration for. So, let's go. First up is item B4335, the Crosstown Lines Train 3-pack. While most trade toys had some kind of generic bullet train in their range, I think that GeoTrax based this one heavily on the Amtrak Acela Express, mainly because of that paint scheme. Item C6442, the Highland Scenic Lines Train. This is our first steam engine of the video, and I think that it is undeniable that GeoTrax got the design from the New York Central Streamlined Hudson. That Art Deco design and unique nose are so unique to that locomotive that it just can't be a coincidence. G5546, the Oceanside Flyer. This is one of a handful of GeoTrax products to use an engine very clearly inspired by an F unit, probably the most recognizable American diesel locomotive. This one in particular has a paint scheme very similar to the Bay Coast Railroad, a now defunct Class 3 short line in my home state of Virginia. While this is probably just a happy coincidence, I'd like to think that Fisher-Price somehow got inspiration from this very obscure railroad. H8100, the Pacific Chief. This is another set with that F-unit style locomotive. This one, I think, is a clear nod to the Santa Fe Super Chief, hence the name, with sort of a catch-all paint scheme that to me takes inspiration from Santa Fe, Great Northern, and Rio Grande. H9448, the All About Train set. Now this set was probably the first exposure a lot of us had to GeoTrax, and it came with that very nostalgic DVD. Now this engine is an absolute dead ringer to the CSX YN2 paint scheme. Like, there's no question that's what this is, right? I think it's so funny how this iconic Class 1 paint scheme randomly shows up in kids' media every once in a while. That train scene in the movie Bolt is still such a classic. L4800, Alpine and Willie. We are now in the later years of GeoTrax where I kind of got out of the range and where they really pushed the human figures and the whole teams concept of the series. This is a big stretch, but I feel like this engine pulls some inspiration from the New York Central M497, an experimental jet-powered locomotive. It's definitely a stretch, but can you guys see it? At least a little bit? L5907, Ox and Jed. Our first foreign locomotive of the video, and this is a clear rendition of a British Railways Class 08, paint scheme and all. L5909, Brutus and Victor. This is another streamlined steam engine set, but to me it's not as blatant of a design as the Highland Scenic set was. I see some inspiration from a Pennsylvania Railroad Class S1 and maybe a little NWJ class in there too. L5912, Knight and Sir John. This one is another dead ringer in my opinion. There is not a doubt in my mind that Fisher-Price was inspired by the Burlington Zephyr for this set. L6928, Woohoo and Opie. Yet again, this set has a clear prototype in my opinion, the New York Central Class S2 electric locomotives. Let's close out with another strong one, W6843, Rock and Pete. It took me one look at this engine and that recognizable nose to see a clear resemblance of the Union Pacific M10001 Streamliner. There's just no way that that's a coincidence. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this different sort of video. It's pretty awesome how many real-life prototypes this toy range took inspiration from, and it makes me wish we had something like this in 2025. Who knows, maybe one of the toy giants has a secret rail fan working behind the desk that can make that happen for us. But in the meantime, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.